Why are people spending hundreds, maybe thousands, even millions of dollars to buy virtual real estate on your platform?
Well, it goes back to the idea of like what Sandbox is. Sandbox is this platform where anyone can make all sort of experiences. We've essentially enable anyone from anywhere in the world to create in a matter of like hours, if not days, very compelling experiences that can then be played, monetized, published on the land, and accessed from anywhere in the world. That's I think one of the reasons why virtual real estate is valuable. But virtual land has been there for more than 20, 25 years. It started with Second Life. So what else is there? Like we had it several things thanks to NFTs and the true ownership. The fact that land has scarcity. There is a total of 166, 464 land in Sandbox, and there will be never any more. That means that, well, you live, there will be a world like this square where land parcel cannot be made more. So more room, no more games can be made. We built it with this concept of neighborhoods. Neighborhoods is essentially enabling, it's the idea that thanks to enabling anyone to put their logo on top of the land to reinforce the ownership, you can become the virtual neighbor of any major brand, any major IP, celebrity, or community you like.
I saw someone paid $450,000 for a virtual plot of land to be next to Snoop Dogg's virtual plot of land. I mean, is that the future? Communities in these worlds? Is that why you say these virtual plots of lands will be even more valuable 10 years down the line?
Like the notion of value is very specific and unique to each one of us. Having the opportunity to become the virtual neighbor of Snoop Dogg and just be one walk away with your avatar from his mansion, the place where users will come to assist his virtual concert, someone is able to value that and put a price on it. And that price is you can put on it because NFTs are digital asset of value. You can prove the scarcity, the authorship, the ownership of it. And there is always this potential that you can use that location. Location matters a lot in the metaverse, as you can understand, to increase his earning from the activities, from the experience that he will be building, maybe renting that place to other creators, other DJs, celebrities that want to be part of this very culturally rich neighborhood that Snoop Dogg represents. Because it's not just Snoop Dogg around. You look and there are other great musical artists. There's Steve Aoki, there will be a collector, sport brand, game brand, etc. Just a walk away as well.
Can you give us a number on how much virtual real estate has been purchased?
So far we have about 18,500 unique landowners. I think it's around 100,000 land parcels that has been sold. And the overall lifetime GMV is nearing $380 million since we started.
Wow, 318 million in virtual real estate. That's pretty astounding.
That's I think still a beginning when you think of like the possibility offered by a virtual world. And now like why people make it so valuable as well is because they see the experience that can be built. They can access the tool. They see the creators. They see the artists. They see there is an ecosystem that's starting to build.
What would you say for someone who's got the money, who wants to buy virtual real estate? What's the best real estate investment in Sandbox right now?
Going back to the idea, like everyone has a personal appreciation of what is value, what's his personal interest. So I would start to look at the map and see like if there is a specific neighborhood part of the map where you see a logo, a brand, a celebrity, a community that appeals to you. Is it, for example, the Bored Ape Yacht Club neighborhood? Is it more this sport club here? Is it a music artist? And try to look around what land value is on the secondary market and if there are opportunities still in the future over primary market.
I'm curious, what's your demographic of users?
So far, the Sandbox really started with a community of creators and artists. That's kind of the roots of the platform. We have mostly adult audience, 25 to 45 years old. and very global. That's really exciting. Like half is US, but the other half is led by Korea, followed by China, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, Turkey, India, Italy, Hong Kong, Taiwan.
I'm curious, you talk about building out a community. I love what you're talking about with this idea that we've grown up with social media and people putting out a curated version of themselves that they don't actually own. If Instagram were to go away tomorrow, people would lose that. And so this idea of decentralization, of people creating their own identities that aren't just based on image or those types of curation and having these experiences in these virtual worlds is really compelling if you look at it in the utopian way. And then I think back to looking at technology with ethics, and I wonder, if there's a land grab right now happening in the virtual real estate market, and it's likely skewed towards people who have money and who can afford to snap up virtual real estate. How do you make sure this isn't like the Wild West many, many years ago, and that the future isn't owned by, access-driven insiders who have the means to build out this world?
We are definitely trying to trigger communities, creators, artists to own land and build experiences. We also have on one side the foundation that's going to provide and keep providing free access to land to the best creator, to the most innovative brand who want to run experiences. On the other side, we're supporting as much as possible empowering people who want to bring diversity. We don't want to just run like a Call of Duty 5, 10, 20 in the sandbox. We are looking at create emergent gameplay, new forms of gameplay that relates towards like ownership of your asset and new sort of interaction with others. But also, and I think it's interesting, the way we are selling the map, it's not like everything was sold initially and it's done. So there's not just access and success for the first early adopters. The map is designed so there's not a single place that concentrate the value. The land sales are small now, so trying to give access to more. And based on the latest number, 18,500 landowners, it's quite a high number of landowners. Concentration, we are looking at the data, but there's no single users who seems to own more than 2%, or 1% actually, excluding Sandbox wallet and specific cases. And so I think it's already shaping to be great in terms of like distribution, and we'll keep working to make sure that distribution and the incentive giving as much as possible a truly democratic ownership of the world and way to control democratically that world afterwards.
Well, it's interesting. Coming from my background is I was our senior tech correspondent at CNN for many years. I was at 60 Minutes. So what I hear, if I can parse through it, is that you think there's a big opportunity for media in the metaverse.
I do think I'm really looking forward to see like the first like TV shows or media like right now we're having like a studio, but imagine yourself into a voxel avatar or walking into a land and having this conversation. We have existing media who acquire land. The South China Morning Post is one of them. I think like journalism will be something we'll find, like citizens of this new world will be writing news, reporting what's happening. As they participate, they will share feedback.
I'm curious how you feel about Facebook transforming into Meta and making its priority the metaverse. Do you think Facebook, as I would say now Meta as the metaverse, will win?
I still think like we need to introduce a real disruption somewhere. And what Web3 carries is this idea like we're finally moving from a web where like large companies are controlling a great amount of data that they collect on their users, offering the service to them for free, but in exchange actually making the users being the product being monetized and using that to do what? To track them online and serve them ads. So try always to be in a very transactional kind of internet. The metaverse is hopefully a place that's more experiential and not necessarily transactional.
So do you believe Meta can build the metaverse in the right way?
I think it's still very vague what they intend to do, and that leaves open that space for other companies to actually change the model, to disrupt the model, like not start from defining your who you are as your first name, last name, a photo, not be in a business model where you will be monetized through collecting your data and serving you ads. And that's what we're trying to do. Now, we know we're currently that small, and the other virtual world and social media platform are that big. We know that we have certain number of challenge ahead of us, like it's still early on, and we are growing and building those experience, and we have support of the community. I believe once you empower users, you give them back 100% of the value they contribute. It's a great generator of network effect value and shifting around mentalities of when you think in that mindset, it's very hard to go back to the previous mindset. And that transformation is why we're talking today.
Do you think virtual properties will one day be as valuable, if not more valuable, than real world properties?
I do think that transformation is already in place. I will go as far as saying like the economy of digital asset and digital goods will largely exceed the one of like the physical world. And that is a transformation that's already in process. We have this massive economic problem in the physical world where the middle class cannot access anymore owning land, owning physical property, or even doesn't want to be attached to those things that they consider of being less important than experience and enjoyment. It's really reshifting the whole concept of value for and what matters more or less for the next generation.
If you believe we're going to be digital citizens in the future, us people were complicated, right? And we look at the last decade of tech, and there were lots of ethical issues and things that went wrong. We're building out a whole new arena for those types of problems. So how do you guys think about the ethical construct for Web3 and virtual spaces?
I think it's definitely like any new world being built, we're both going to face some issues from the previous world, but also like there is new way to comprehend and new issues that community will be facing. We should protect the citizen of those digital worlds. I think it's important. If the overall user experience is going to be bad in a virtual world, you are not going to go back there, right? So ultimately, whether it's your avatar, your virtual self projected into a virtual world, or yourself in the physical world, we all want to be living in safety, in feeling that our rights are protected. And I think that technology enables some of those rights to be protected even better than trusting a government or a political system. And some others still need a community and some other mechanism put in place that will help drive and ensure for the safety and the greater good of the community.
You're a father, right?
Yes.
What does this world look like for your son growing up? Like, let's wave our magic wand and go to like 2030. What does Sandbox look like for someone like your son?
Well, he would already be almost my age by then. So I think we have a chance as a generation and parents to offer new opportunities that doesn't require the same kind of skills that we actually learn at school. Like we're living in the 21st century. We are becoming more and more digital. Sometimes we can call ourselves the meta-human. I've read that across several books. And the skills that are actually needed into these digital worlds are very different than the one like the second industrial revolution or the third world of services have been teaching us and what we've been learning at most of the school. And that's what we're starting to see. Like most kids as digital native are already very accustomed to like interfacing with touchscreen, as interacting through an avatar with other users in centralized world like Roblox. Roblox became the main social network for the 13 years old kids. And we're working to offer millions of jobs opportunities because the metaverse needs to be built. If not, it's just an empty world. Even if we have the greatest mind and greatest imagination, we still need talented, artistic people to create that new culture, to create those new spaces.
You're going to have younger people on the platform. So are you guys thinking specifically about, regulation or child safety on the platform?
Those are important aspects that will definitely need to be considered and we'll be looking into.